Let's begin there, in fact, with Tyler Orton from Business in Vancouver. Tyler, good morning to you. Let's
Steve.
talk about oil and OPEC.
Yeah, they came to an agreement yesterday for the first time since 2008 to cut production levels. Now, it's a very slight level of production that they're going down to. Right now, they're pumping out 33.24 billion barrels per day. Or million barrels per day, I should say. And they've only agreed to go down to 32.5 to 33 million barrels per day. So it's very, very slight, but it had enough to have a big impact on the oil markets, as you mentioned just a moment ago. And for the Canadian economy, that's not such a bad thing either, because of course we know how much it's been impacted by the drop in oil prices, especially in provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan. So if we just look at the immediate impacts, the Canadian dollar actually jumped to a 4-week high yesterday, closing at half a cent higher than it did the day previously. And the S&P TSX Composite Index, it jumped 1% yesterday as well. But keep in mind, that means consumers, you're going to be affected at the pumps as well with higher oil prices. And that's kind of the balance that Canadians have to strike. What's good for the economy, it could still have an impact on your pocketbooks as well. Overall, just keep in mind, if we have a higher Canadian dollar, though, that's attached to the price of oil, that could make trouble for exports going forward as well, making Canada competitive versus other countries, especially ones that aren't as dependent on the oil sector.
Okay, and let's talk about the women in boardrooms and how it's up a little bit, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, and Canada's markets regulator, it's not pleased with the results that it's put in place ever since this so-called comply or explain regime. The Canadian Securities Administrator, they set out a target 2 years ago of having 30% of board representation of women throughout the country. New report came out, and right now it's only at 12%. That's only up from 11% from the year before. So we're not really making very fast progress. The one thing to note here, though, is that companies that are larger, say with $10 billion more of market capitalization, they actually have far greater diversity on their boards, with women being represented at 23% of all those board seats as well. If you go to the next level, $1 billion market cap, well, then you're looking at about 18% representation there. And for both those levels of companies, they've seen growth of representation by 2% year over year. So larger companies are doing better with it, but still the market watchdog can't be pleased with the results that we're getting when it comes to more representation on women on these boards.
All right, Tyler, thank you very much. Tyler from Business in Vancouver. You can reach him at BIV.com. Have a great day, Tyler.